Welcome back to the episode with Mystic
Mystic
Scales and
Scales
Fae
and Fay
Tales
Tales
podcast.
podcast.
I'm one of your hosts, Jennifer,
And I'm your other host, Lee.
and
And
we
we
are
are
so
a
happy. Oh, wait, go ahead. What are we?
we are a dystopian fantasy and romance podcast. And
Exactly, hit it right in the nose.
we are so excited because why?
We're so excited today because we have a very special mini episode we are doing where we are reviewing the Hunger Games stage show with a guest. So we wanted to welcome today
Yay!
our guest. This is Adam. Hi, Adam.
Hi, Adam.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hi.
Yeah, Adam is one of our longtime friends and a longtime Hunger Games fan, and they also saw the show. So they saw the show in London, and I got to see the show in London. Sadly, Lee has not seen the show in London yet, but she is okay for spoilers. So we figured this would
Yes.
be a great conversation to have on our podcast because we know obviously London is not accessible to all. So a lot of the fans that are here in the States will not be able to see the show. So I think I'm personally just really like jazzed to talk about this because I feel like if I wasn't going to London, I'd want to see like what people's reviews are and stuff. So this would be like a nice way for everyone to be able to enjoy the Hunger Games without being in London to have to see it.
For sure.
Yeah,
For
for
sure.
sure. I saw the show in January, so Jen's a little more fresh with her memories of the show, but I'm still really excited to share my experience as well and talk about it. Yeah, it's
I'm
gonna be
so
a good
happy to
time.
talk to somebody else who saw it because I've been waiting to talk to you. Like I haven't like sat down and been like, let's discuss it.
Yeah. For a bit of backstory, we actually worked together, and I saw the show first, and I really wanted to talk about it, but I didn't want to spoil it because I know you were going, and then your trip got postponed for a little bit, and that made like the wait even more torturous. So it's really cool
Oh my
that
god.
you're finally back. We can finally talk about it. So yeah, and poor Lee will have to listen and just imagine, I suppose.
Just
But
just live vicariously. It's okay. I will
yeah,
ask all the
Listen,
questions, especially about
whatever comes here, you'll get
right,
at least a great perspective.
it's
right.
true.
Which I think we have thoughts and feelings about. So can't wait to
Very much
hear
so.
hear more.
The way that we're going to do this for this mini episode is we're going to break this into two mini episodes. You get to hear our voices twice. And
Yay.
the first mini episode, we are going to talk about, as much as, I mean, they might blend, but we'll talk about Act 1, and then the second mini episode, we'll talk about Act 2, an overall review of the show. And so if you don't want to know anything about this production, spoilers ahead, I guess go to London, go see the show, and then come back to this episode and tell us what you think. But otherwise, I feel like it's fine. Obviously, if you haven't read The Hunger Games or seen the movie, spoiler for the story. But I think we're at the point where this has been out for long enough that we hope that you know the story by now.
Hmm.
Yes, 2008 is I think when the first book was published. So um,
Right.
yeah, it's been a long time.
Oh
It's
my
been a long
god, I'm
time.
probably gonna do a whole 20-year anniversary soon. Oh, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it.
Oh
That's
my
a lot
God.
for my brain.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. All right,
Wow.
so let's jump into it. Right, you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Let the Hunger Games begin. Everyone do their best Effie Trinket voice.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
geez.
Adam, give it a go.
Oh, the FE. I can't even do it. I want to hear yours.
Oh no. No, I'm good.
Happy Hunger Games.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
It is pretty
Yeah,
good.
she's pretty hard to do. I'm not even gonna lie to you. So I have my handy dandy program here. I'm gonna share our screen to show some of the production to jog our memories because, like I said, it's been a minute for some of us, and
Mhm.
also to give the visual of the show as we talk about it. Um,
Yes.
Very cool.
Yay! Oh my god, okay, I'm so excited. Okay, where do we want to start?
So tell me about the theater. Tell me about they built this or what was the experience of this coming to life?
Yeah, so they built the theater for this. So it's a little different because you think, we're based in New York for all the listeners, and we go to Broadway, and all the shows are in Broadway, they're all next to each other. In London, it's the West End, but because of this show being, I guess, the scale or whatever they wanted, it's not in the West End. So it's actually in Canary Wharf. So you have
Mm.
to go on the tube and go all the way out to this production itself, which I think could be a good and bad thing. I don't know how their ticket sales obviously are. We don't work in the box office, but I'm wondering if that ever impacted them because you have to go out to the show. You're not going to be like, oh, I'm seeing The Lion King tomorrow, and then tomorrow night I'm going to go see Hadestown that's down the block from it. Like, no, you have to, like, get on the tube. It's not far. It's, like, 20 minutes at most. Like, it's really not far, but you still have to, like, do it. So I noticed when I got off the tube there, they have signs everywhere that's like, that has the logo, and it's like, go this way, so you don't get lost. It's very easy to find, and it's this huge theater. But yeah, it's kind of like a crazy concept because we're not used to that, the thought of someone building a theater to do a show here.
Yeah. Thank God those signs were there. They were really helpful, like the directional, pointing you in the right area. And I wonder also about ticket sales because when I went, we purchased the tickets very last minute. We just had a free night, and we're like, what should we do? It's our last night in London. And I thought about how you spoke about the stage show, and I was able to pick up the tickets pretty last minute, which might be surprising for like a newer show. So I wonder, to your point, if having it a little further out of the way did impact ticket sales, because it does not give the same vibe of West End at all. Because we also saw a West End show while we were there, My Neighbor Totoro, and that felt much more similar to like the area of being in like Times Square, Broadway. This felt more like downtown. Like, if I'm just comparing it to New York City because that's all I know, but it was really beautiful. Like, just getting there, it wasn't. I feel like I wouldn't have explored that part of London if I wasn't going to the show. So that was kind of a nice little thing.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree. It reminded me of I've been to Boston, and it kind of reminded me of some areas of Boston that are like industrial areas. That's like the best way that I described it because I went with my cousin, and the moment that we both got off, we were like, this looks like Boston because we've both been to Boston separate times. And I was like, oh, but minus like the historical aspect of Boston where it looks like, like Philly and like all the historical aspects. But it's very like industrial, but there's big buildings, and we had we stayed there. We stayed at the hotel right next to it, and it's just very much like restaurants. It's tall buildings. It looks like office areas, maybe like a FiDi kind of thing.
Yeah, that's why I said downtown. Yeah.
Yeah, so it has that kind of vibe to it. So it was nice that you could like go to a dinner. You could probably go to dinner there and like have a nice meal and then like go see the show. And for me, I was right next to it with the hotel, so it was like, oh my God, this is amazing. But yeah, the building's huge. They put a huge Mockingjay right on the top. I think they have a restaurant in there on the top too, and then they have bars, and then
I didn't see the Mockingjay when I was there, or I don't remember. That's cool.
Yeah, all of them in the top of the building. There's a big Mockingjay.
I wish I paid better attention. Yeah.
It reminds me of how they did that for Harry Potter here, where they put that big nest on the top of the Harry Potter theater here, and you don't realize it unless if you look up.
Yeah. I think I have to look for that too.
Exactly. It's only if you look up you can see it. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, then you walk into the theater. So the theater is structured in the round, and each section was a different district. Do you remember what district you were, Adam, at any chance?
Yes, I think I was District 9. And I was worried about like seating because we bought the very back row. But I will say I don't think there's a bad seat in this theater based on the design. As you can see in the photo, it's like an arena. So I don't think there really is a bad spot. I was worried that we wouldn't be able to see, but it's kind of like an intimate theater, so you don't really have to worry about having like a bad seat, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't. So wait, you were on the seats that moved?
Does District 9 move? Because
I don't know. I didn't know the sides move. I don't know which ones it was.
Move how?
There was movement. I can't tell you if
40X?
my seats were moving. I definitely noticed other seats moving. If it was moving, it was very like kind of like the Ellen DeGeneres ride in Epcot. You know, like how you're in the theater and then you start moving and you're like, oh, these seats move. Yeah, but I was the very back row, and I was happy with that seat, honestly.
Yeah, I was District. I think because of like where our seats were, like it said like my ticket was 7 and my cousin's ticket was 8, but we were right next to each other, so it's like it was right by there. But yeah, Lee, on the if you see on this picture where the Mockingjay is in the screen, the ones to the left and right of it, those are like the end caps of the circle. They move. So when they're bringing set pieces in and out, they physically move the seats out and they physically move the seats back in. But I was in the middle.
People are sitting?
Where people are sitting.
Yeah, like you kind of like just very slightly. Yeah, it was kind of cool to watch.
Yeah, and you're not like janked around. Like they're not 40X, like you said. But it physically moves. It's insane. Wow. I've never seen that in theater. Like, what theater show have we seen where like other than like, Disney, like you mentioned, or like a entertainment industry, but like physically moving the seats, and then they physically moved them back multiple times. It was not just once; it was multiple times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lee's like, yeah, okay.
I'm like, liability, that sounds like not a good idea. Also, we know how easily things break in Broadway.
Yeah.
You know how
Yeah, that's
things that are
true.
supposed to just move forward and back do not.
That's what I was like. That was what I was thinking about. I was like, this is a lot of risk for them to do that, because what if one thing doesn't work? Do you have to then, like domino effects, so whatever is going to come in next? Like they have these screens come down. Obviously, they have the chariot come out. They have so much things come in and out that I'm like, yeah. What if the B row to the right doesn't move? Like then you can't do half the show. Like I wonder what their plan is for that.
Yeah. Huh.
It's a new squeaky theater, so they can do whatever they want, I guess.
Well, yeah, and it sounds like that didn't happen for you guys, so that's a good
Right.
thing.
Well,
Yeah, it is a good thing.
there was one technical issue with my show. We can talk about that when we get to that part. But I will say this is why they couldn't make this theater in the West End, because they had this like idea, and I guess they're like, we're not going to build this into like already like a theater that exists. So that's why they had to build it from scratch.
Yeah, as you're watching
Okay.
it, you're like, this could never be in a new theater, like an old theater. Like it has
Well,
to be new.
and like those theaters are truly old, even older than New York, so that's crazy.
But that could have
Mhm.
been because they had the liberty to do that. Like if they knew they had to go into that space, I'm sure the show would have looked completely different. But because they're like, oh, we can do this, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, when you walk into Lee, they have the only thing hanging, or that you see, obviously, other than like you see the districts, on the bottom where your seats are, or like on the bottom row, you see the districts. They have the arrow, the bow and arrow hanging. So that's what's hanging when you walk in for Act One, and then we'll talk about Act Two when we get to Act Two. But yeah,
Yeah.
and then the show starts, and oof, gosh, I have a lot to say about Act One. So the show starts, and so the narration of the show, they decided to do this in, I mean, obviously everything's in first person, or what like the book is, but they do it where the Katniss is narrating throughout the show. So she's giving you her experience.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to read a little bit from the program. It says, in the novel and in this McPherson script, the story is told by Katniss. Katniss is talking to us, so we get a real sense of her integrity and bravery. Dustin, who I think is the director, explains. So literally when it starts, though, I'm pretty sure the first line, which I was like, I really want the screenplay. But I'm pretty sure the first line is her going, when I wake up, the other side of the bed is cold. My fingers stretch out, seeking Prim's warmth from finding only the rough canvas over the mattress. And that's how much I've read and listened to this book, that the moment she starts speaking, I'm like, she's saying the first line of the book. So like, that was interesting.
I think that was kind of a special way to open it. I was very surprised that there was narration. I wasn't expecting them to do like a first person Katniss POV. At some points, I think it got a little cringy for me. Unfortunately, like hearing her narrate things, I don't know why, because like it's an internal monologue, so to hear it vocalized is kind of weird, because those are things that most humans wouldn't say out loud. It's like this is what she's thinking, and it felt private, and it kind of felt like a little like I don't want to hear it. I don't know, but
I agree.
yeah.
That's an
But I
interesting
remember
choice.
this. Yeah, I remember hearing the first line and getting excited and seeing like, oh, I wonder how this is gonna go. But yeah, that's kind of how it landed for me after a while. Yeah.
I couldn't agree more, because it reminded me. So like, have you guys ever seen Fun Home, the show, the musical?
No.
Okay. Well, Fun Home is also in the round, and it's a musical based off of another book. And they narrate throughout that as well. And I haven't seen that show in years since it was on Broadway, so I might be like very, very fuzzy about it. But I remember liking it because the narration in that, and kind of similar to if you've ever read Bretton Beach Memoirs too, that play, the narration is that they're narrating it, but they're talking directly to you as an audience member. So they break the fourth wall immediately, and they're talking to you as they're narrating this. This is not like that. Adam's 100% right. It's like she's narrating her inner thoughts, but not to you as an audience. It's just like she's like, and I feel this way. And it's like, it's weird.
Yeah.
Like it's you're trying to pay homage to this amazing book and to Katniss's inner monologue because this is what you're in the book, but they're not showing it in the way that you would understand it. Like, it doesn't translate in this medium. There's a reason they didn't put it in the movie, and you have this amazing medium of theater that you could show that more, but have her talk to the audience then, or have it be different. And I think what really bothered me on top of that is you're taking on this huge task of having the main character narrate. And I don't know how you felt, Adam, but I thought the casting was really bad. I did not enjoy her performance of Katniss at all. I actually thought that she was like one of, no shade to her, but I thought she was one of the worst performers I've seen in a very long time. Come to find out, this is her debut, and I just was not a fan of her.
Did you have the lead person? I had the lead person too. I can't think of her name. I think that she really looks like Katniss. So I don't know if they were casting based on appearance, which is probably not for the best. I think she sounded like Katniss, but
Mia is her name.
oh Mia, yeah. But in like performance wise, I think she had a really hard job of like carrying the show, and I don't think they really gave her the tools to like, you know, flesh it out. It felt flat. It was like a flat performance, which is really kind of disappointing if you're literally telling us, it's kind of like you're telling us how you feel, but you know what they say, you have to show it. But when you don't rely on the monologue, that's kind of how it felt. I did not like her casting too much either.
I did not like her casting, and what I read in the program was that they had like 100 people or more. Like they auditioned a lot, and they called her back. They originally did a dance audition, and they called her back from that, and then they did more of the acrobat, and then they did like another audition. So yes, she handles the stunts really well, and you're right, she carries it on her back because there's a lot of stunts to do throughout this entire show, so you have to be able to do that. But I think that I think that her performance was just like, she played Katniss. She didn't feel like she understood Katniss as a character, one.
Yeah,
And the way that she played Katniss was very like, like, I'm annoyed, and I'm this, and I'm rough, and I'm that. And you're just like, whoa, like, why do I care about you? Why do I want to, like, involve myself with you at all? Like, and they didn't, I like that you said, like, they didn't do well to give her what she needed, because I feel like that was a lot for the other characters in the way that they pieced together this story, that it didn't give the characters room to breathe. And I think that was the main thing, is she needed that time to breathe and to not just like speak or like be angry.
Yeah, I wrote down here in my notes that she didn't really have like the Katniss spunk, like it's kind of like a weird word, but like, like she was kind of like missing that edge. Like she wasn't edgy enough to be Katniss. Katniss kind of, goes through life with like a chip on her shoulder, but like in a spunky way. And I feel like she wasn't, it's hard to give that through what they provided in the lines. So
yeah, I was thinking about that too, because a lot of what Jennifer Lawrence's performance was her face, right? And it was her face and her reactions and the things that she did that were very subtle. And she could do that because you're working with a camera. You have that option to do more and explore more with the camera. And so obviously she wouldn't have had that here. But I needed that then in her everything else, in her emotions and the way that she's coming across, especially with the characters. Like, I don't know, her relationship with Prim was like, okay. Like, it wasn't like, I still wasn't feeling like she cared about any of these people at all.
Dang.
I don't want to skip ahead too much because I'm thinking about Rue right now. But I will, I unfortunately agree with you. I don't want to like drag her too much, but like also like the delivery of the lines as I'm remembering and recalling, it felt like flat, like just like a flat. It was just a flat. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it was very flat. It was to the point that I'm watching a show and like, okay, I try not to be that snob, because you don't want to be a snob while watching, but like, we've seen a lot of theater. We live in New York. We've grown up with it. I went to school for it. I went to school for acting. I went to school for all of this. So I can't not have my critiques of things. And I don't enjoy a show that when I'm watching it, I'm giving notes in my head of what you could have done differently. And there's like things that could have done differently, like everyone has their opinions, whatever. I'm like, oh, this is cool, but you could have done this. No, it was more to the point that like she was speaking and I was like, I wanted to be like, if you guys seen Hamnet, where like in the movie, like Paul Mescal like tells him like, do the line again. Like I wanted to just like to shout that I heard like again, like you're not getting the feeling
Oh
of the line.
God.
Like it just was like, oh, like, and it was so hard to ignore because she is the main person of the show. So it's not like you could just like get past it. Like, oh, this one actor's bad, but the rest of the actors are good. Because she's the
No.
thing.
Yeah. I
No.
think I kind of noticed that with the other characters in the show, like Effie, for example, Caesar, it's really easy to bring those characters to its stage because they are one note. So if you hit the note correctly, they like are superb. You know, like I really thought like Effie did a great job, and I thought like Caesar, like they were so enjoyable for me because like I'm like okay, you really understand the character because it's not hard to understand what they're supposed to be doing. But for like Katniss and Peeta and Gale, where it's a little more nuanced, it didn't really translate.
It did not translate. So the next photo I'm showing, which I've had on the screen for a while, is so you can see is the way that they kind of show District 12. So for District 12,
Hmm.
obviously the only district we see in the show, they had them like in like the rustic, still like rustic Western style clothing, and they would bring out, which I couldn't find a photo of. Maybe I was looking at the thing, but when they would be at Katniss's house, because there's two scenes at her house, which you didn't think would happen, um, and they like bring out like these set pieces and they like hold them in place to show like a little like a shack of a house,
Yes, I
in a
actually
way.
love that part. I thought that was cool the way they
I thought that was
constructed the
cool too.
house. Yeah, with the actors. The actors are essentially like putting the house together for you. And then in the middle of the scene, the actors will actually shift, and then you get a new POV of like inside the house, so that everyone, because it's a circle arena, and then everyone can kind of see like different parts of that scene. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I did too. I actually like the way they did that. And then they bring the stage out and they do the reaping that way. They skip the giving the blood, all that. They
Oh,
just like
sure.
have them get in line. They're like in the line, little duck, whatever. And then the rest of it goes more to what happened. I don't in the movie. He doesn't fall off the stage, does he?
Oh, like
Namish?
Haymitch.
oh,
No, okay. So in the
No.
book he does. I know in the book he dies. So they added it back in. So he
Okay.
comes out, he's drunk, blah blah blah, and he falls off the stage. Um, and the rest of it, obviously, it's the same. It's the reaping.
How was her like passion for like volunteering?
Here we go. The next image.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, sure. I think I was like so. I was like, what is happening? Like the play was moving
Uh-oh.
quickly, but not moving quickly enough. I don't know. I just didn't enjoy the pacing of this first act specifically. Um, and like I said, she was like kind of screaming a lot. So just like for me, I didn't really get like the emotion of it, I guess. But the actress of Prim was fine. Like she had the reaction. She had like the nice like walking down and trying to tuck her tail back into her
yeah,
thing,
Yeah.
and like that
that
was
was a
really
nice
cool.
touch.
Mm.
Um, and then Gail coming out and grabbing. So yeah, it was fine otherwise. But the only thing that I took away, like Adam said with the monologuing, is that when she goes on the stage and then they like, okay, now for the boys, and they do PETA. Then after they pulled his name, she like reads. I'm sure I could find it in the book. Like she says the line of like, not him. It can't be that boy. Like she just starts monologuing as like this
Oh.
thing is happening. So it just was
Oh.
like that was cringe. Like you were like, ew, what's
Yeah,
happening?
yeah, like icky. Like I don't want to hear this. Like I don't want to. Like yeah, I feel like I'm being subjected
Oh.
to it in a way, which is pretty
Yes.
severe to say.
Oh
But
no.
um, the mayor's daughter, not in the stage show, correct?
Yeah, she's
Mage,
not
is
in
that
it.
her name?
Hmm.
Is that her? I love her in
I
the
think it's Matt. Is
books.
it Mage or Madge?
It's Madge. I
Madge.
mean,
It's
same
Madge.
Madge.
same
Yes.
spelling.
I don't know why. Like, I love to hyperfixate on second, like, not primary characters in, especially sci-fi fantasy. I find them so interesting. I was just,
Hmm.
for whatever reason, hoping they would put her in, but she
We
wasn't in
didn't
the
man.
movie either, right? Or like very briefly in the movie.
No, they took her
No, but
out.
she like has such a connection to Sunrise that like you would think that they'd like bring it back. I mean the movie came out in 2012, so they could rectify this. So I
Yeah,
agree.
I
Like
really liked her
So
character.
the person who gives her the great transition, guys, the person who gives her the Mockingjay pin in this is Gail.
Yeah, I did not like that
Gail
at all.
just gives it to her and says, "Wear this." There's no connection
Ew.
to it. There's nothing really that like, and like she wears it, and then there'll be parts where she's just like, show it to the world, point it up so everyone can see it, and you're just like, okay, like it just
Yeah,
didn't.
Oh
it
Oh, and
loses
also
no.
like,
its. Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, go ahead, you go.
No, I was gonna say it just loses its like special symbolism in a way that like I really love that part of the book. It's so touching and it just like felt so rushed that part. And they also, of course, don't put in is it the scene? I want to make sure like is that what it's
Hmm.
called? Like when they
Yeah,
go
the
to
scene.
the yeah. Also, I want to kind of say like getting to Canary Wharf where the theater is and walking in kind of felt like scene vibes. Like it kind of felt like it was in this big like old factory in a way
I
to
agree.
call back to that, but they
That's
cut
cool.
that out completely the theme because they can't put that into the stage show. It would be too much, I think.
It'd make
But
it like yeah, they couldn't handle all the extra characters and stuff, and
yeah, but I do love like that's like really like I love world building and that's like what makes it so special. So
Mm. Hmm.
yeah, I
yeah,
agree. And then I'm just gonna skip ahead. There's Miss Effie Trinket. I agree. I think her performance was good. I think that she wasn't any different from what we've seen. Where I think the Haymitch, on the other hand, was still trying to do a little different. Of like, yes, it's Woody Harrelson, but like trying to put his own twist on it. Um, I'm gonna save my Caesar comments for the second act, but for the most part, she was mainly just like what you know and love about the character, which I think is fine. Like you could make your own if you want, but like also to have something that's grounding for people that come in and know that, I think is also helpful if you're trying to have your audience like grip onto something new. So
yeah. I liked Effie. I really did. I'm a big fan of Effie as a character, and I think like this person nailed her. And I think the costume is just beautiful. I think they did a really good job like making her like they fleshed her out really well. Like I think there's a lot of lackluster costuming in the show. So to see like Effie like standing there so pink and so bold and so like familiar was I think a good thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And here's our Mr. Haymitch. Um, So Haymitch, they added back in the, which I'm pretty sure this is in the book, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, Lee. The like him trying to punch Peta in the
Trying to
train.
punch Peter.
He like goes to punch him.
I don't remember that. Is that like, does Peter have alcohol or something?
Yeah, like with
Yeah.
the alcohol, and he try, and I think he does
He
punch
tries
him.
to.
Isn't it when in the Haymitch is on the train and Peter's like, "Are you going to train us? Or are you going to be our mentor?"
Mm,
And like
mm.
slaps the
Mm-hmm.
alcohol out of his hand, and then they get into like a squabble. And doesn't Katniss get slapped too? Or am I maybe now I'm just imagining things? How did that happen in like the book, the movie, and
Your
everything
I
just
own
know it's
brain?
all in him.
yeah. And I'm doing a little bit of hallucination maybe about that part.
That's okay. Sometimes a little fan fiction too.
Or like in the movie, there's a cool
Fancy.
part where like Katniss takes her knife and
Mm-hmm.
like stabs the table,
Mm-hmm.
and then Haymitch takes his foot, right? Is like
Yes.
that's a great scene in the movie. Um, yeah, but that's like I feel like that's a really important turning point for their character arc because Haymitch is like, oh, like there's something worth investing in here and pouring into here because I feel like that's the moment when he realizes like Katniss could be someone.
Right. Like
So
she's fighting back already. Like, don't
mhm,
count her out, kind of thing, for
yeah,
sure. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm glad they kept some essence of that in the stage show too.
That's good. Did they have like good chemistry, like acting off of each other?
Okay, I'm
Or.
sorry, guys. Wait, sorry to interrupt you. I
It's
just
okay.
confirmed in the book he does punch Peta. So Haymitch, because
Okay.
first off he comes into the thing and just vomits everywhere, and then he sits down. They like that's where you get the flashback first about her and Peta, and then on
Mm-hmm.
page 69 it says, "That's funny," says Peta. Suddenly he lashes out at the glass in Hamish's hand. It shatters on the floor, sending the blood red liquid running toward us, the back of the train. Only not to us. Hamish considers this a moment, then punches Peta on the jaw, knocking him from the chair. When he turns back to reach for the spirits, I drive my knife into the table between his hand and the bottle, barely missing his fingers. I brace myself to deflect his hits, but it doesn't come. Instead, he sits back and squints at us. So he does punch Peta, and so they put it back in the play, and he punches him, and
Okay.
that was great.
Do you remember if uses her knife in that scene too?
She does, but I think she throws it at him, and he catches it with the tray.
Oh, that's
So that's
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
cool.
That rings a bell. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Lee. What was your question that you asked?
Oh, I was asking if like the actors for Haymitch and Katniss, like how was their chemistry? Did they like feed off of each other well.
Yeah, I think it was hard with her, for any of the actors. But what was interesting about Haymitch is that they added him into more of the show. So like him and Cinna were kind of used as plot devices to move the plot forward. So they did a lot of like narrating of like telling what's going to happen and da da da. And they added him into the training. So like he's there with them and he's like explaining what the training arena is and explaining what you're going to do and getting them to different things. So he's there with them throughout the entire training, which is kind of similar to like his book, because remember when he's training in his book and Beatty's in the room, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like I feel like it was similar to that in that sense, where they were calling back on that and having the mentor in the room, where obviously like in the movie, and I don't remember the book, they're not there. So like that was interesting, and I think that there was definitely more moments I feel like that we lost without Haymitch, and he was just like background at some points, and it was a little sad for me.
Yeah.
I don't know how you felt, Adam.
In terms of chemistry, I think that Haymitch tried. He really did play like kind of like a slouchy, like even the photo showing, like he was pretty like a slouchy drunk for the most part. But the training, I really did like training facility scenes. I think that the stage translates really well to that part of the book, and it felt the most like immersive for me out of everything. Like it really like felt like I was there with them when they were training, because just like physically it felt like that type of setting. So I enjoyed that part of the stage show the most, which is kind of disappointing when you think about it, that like the build up that was the best for me, like before they got into the arena, not to spoil anything that's to come. I think maybe in the book Haymitch is there for the first training session. He might be, I'm not sure.
I have to look back. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I think it was interesting to have him there the whole time. And just so you can visualize it, like they bring down this huge net that like comes down, and people are climbing the net, and they have them there, and they have them doing the spears, and they have them doing like the dummies and putting the knives in the dummy, and like they do go to at least one point where he's Peeta's painting. They have that, and they have one where I'm pretty sure Rue does climb up a bit. But yeah, so it's very, what Adam said, very immersive. There's so many things happening throughout.
But didn't you say that it's not all of the districts? Like they just chose...
No. They chose some to focus on. So they obviously keep speaking about it and saying there's that many tributes, but the actual cast itself is much smaller. So they have their mains, which I think I have a photo. Oh, we'll come back to Caesar. So this is what you'll see here in this photo. You'll see the mains. So they focus on District 1, District 2, District 4, District 12, and District 11. And they add in Foxface. But that's kind of where they focus their main things on.
Didn't they like rename Foxface too? Like they didn't use the name Foxface.
Yes. So we discovered in the program that Suzanne Collins gave names for characters that were unnamed. So when they said her name, I was like, what the hell? I don't even know what they called her. I have to look at the program. But yeah, so
is that actor does a great job like portraying Foxface, and it's Foxface. Like she looks like Foxface, she like sneaks around, but then they don't call her that. But you're like, that's Foxface. Why are they not calling her that? And they just they just don't even mention that nickname once, which kind of feels like a weird choice.
Fossa.
Yeah.
In her Fossa, Fossa.
Yeah, it almost felt like a weird choice to not be like, oh, Fossa is Foxface, like in any way. But it was very obviously her. Yeah. And since it's such a small cast, they reuse a lot of these like actors. So you'll see them like as ensemble members, you'll see them as peacekeepers, or like, so that's kind of fun too, that you're kind of like pointing out like, oh, that's Kano, but he's also at the scene. He's like just a District 12 like person. Yeah, so it's kind of fun.
Okay.
I think this is a great spot to almost end Act 1 for this mini episode. So before we wrap up the episode, let's just talk about
I have something to share that happened when I was watching it. In the training facility, they were doing like the training bits, and then there was an announcement when we were watching it, and they said, oh, like the show is pausing essentially. So they paused the show. for like 10 minutes. And then they didn't tell us why, but you mentioned there's so many moving parts. I think that something that was supposed to happen didn't happen. Something didn't like come out or something like there was some sort of technical issue. So they paused the show for 5 minutes and then they restarted the show, but they like restarted it like 7 minutes earlier. So like we had to like rewatch like a bit of the show.
Oh my
Because I guess
God.
there's probably like certain like cutoff points that were like,
Points.
yeah. So it was really interesting to, and it kind of felt weird to like have to listen to the same thing we just listened to. And then it worked fine, but it was kind of interesting. They handled it well, like so that was good. But yeah, just a little interesting thing that happened.
Wow. Live theater.
Live theater, folks. Live theater. That's crazy. I think I'll save our Caesar discussion for Act 2 episode. But were there any other things that you liked from the end of Act 1, Adam, where we have the tribute parade, the I think that's it. It's like the tribute parade. Oh, and then the training, and then we end Lee like right before the games start. So we got a scene as well with Katniss like in her or what is it, her suite, and Effie does like the whole like you could change the screen to be whatever you want, and then it's like her and Gail talking, which is weird. At first I thought they were trying to say they were having a phone call, and I was like, this is not normal. But then I think it was just like a she imagined thing. And then we end the game right before. Did we get the scene where Peeta says I don't want to be a part of their games? I don't remember.
I can't remember. I remember like they did mention like them training separately. That did happen.
Yes.
Um,
And she got really pissed off.
she was upset. Something that I do want to talk about that's not necessarily this part, like the whole choice of not casting Snow and just having
Oh,
him
I
be on
wanted to ask about that. Yeah.
I think it was good and bad, but also was it not just the actor who portrays him in the movies? It was, right?
Wait.
No.
Okay, I was
Oh,
gonna.
was it? Okay. He looked very much like him.
No, that's not him. Unfortunately, the actor who played him in the movies has passed.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
Yes.
Well, that's not good, but
Yeah.
that's good to know.
No, it's John
Um,
Malcolm. It's John.
Oh,
Oh
Malkovich.
my God, Malkovich. It's John Malkovich, who has the longest bio in this bio thing, which is like kind of cocky, honestly. Like, why is your bio like you see that long? That's his bio. We
Yeah.
don't need that for the man that's in the show for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, John Malkovich.
I think like where it worked well is Snow is very often viewed from a screen in the actual story. Like he doesn't really have a lot of physical presence. So, but it just felt like a little lazy to me. I don't
It
know.
was lazy.
Yeah.
I think it was lazy. Let me see if I have a picture of it. You can kind of see him there. He has like a smaller screen, Lee, and then he comes on like a bigger screen at some points. And he also comes on a bigger screen where they're talking to him. So like he'll be in a big screen, and specifically when Katniss and Peter are on the carriage, which the carriage is amazing. They like literally lift them up in this carriage. It's like Aladdin, like a whole new world. And they're lifted up, and he asks her a question, and she answers. And so she has like, you have to like obviously play with the screen that's like pre-recorded. So if you mess up your line, it's gonna be a little awkward, you know. Which thankfully she didn't. But it was. I understood the idea of it is like you said, he's always on the screen, and this concept of like this overwhelming power that's all powering and always watching and always there and looming over you. But because of the loss of Snow as a physical character, you kind of don't feel the fear. Like the fear is gone. And like, yes, I don't necessarily think that he needs to be in a bunch of scenes, but even just having an actor, like they have so many levels in the show. Like you put him up like on like literally a platform and him talk to them over like he does in the books. So then to have him be
Much better.
so powerful. That's like a character coming on a balcony and having like a monologue. Like it's kind of one of those moments, like an Evita, like something like that. So it's just like it's just so sad that wasn't felt with it. It just was like, oh, this guy's on the screen.
The screen was very much giving like I'm at a theme park in a pre-show, like you're loading up and they have those screens that are so obviously like pre-recorded and they don't ever feel fresh. So yeah. And like when Katniss is interacting with the screen, there's like sometimes awkward like, because it's like a screen, right? So like if it's like a second early or a second late, the pacing felt weird. Did not like the screen.
Did not love it.
Huh.
So that's our wrap on Act 1. It was a
Okay.
little rough. I will say Act Two will be a little more positive, I think, on my review. But we will see.
I think I liked Act One better. So
Oh,
it's
hot
me.
take, hot take, hot take.
Out of 10, what would you rate Act One in terms of like enjoyability, and then also in terms of like book to stage? Like if you had to give two.
Okay, enjoyability. It was probably like a six maybe, because I just was like, what's happening? Like, I felt like I was like rolling my eyes. I was just like, I don't understand what's happening. And like, it was moving at a weird pace. My cousin was falling asleep next to me. People left after Act
Oh,
One. People in my
yeah,
row in
God.
front of me left. People
me
did not come
too.
back. There
That
was a lot
happened
of
to me
empty
too.
seats. And
Mm.
so I just was like, this is rough. And I remember I texted Lee and I was like, I'm hating this. Like, I'm not enjoying it. Book to adaptation. I mean, listen, Sudan gave the story, so the story is there, so that will never be gone, and that's the great part about this. The story is still intriguing, and I love the idea of let's bring in more of the book, let's bring in the words from the book. Like, as a fan, the moment she starts talking and it's like the first line of the book, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is, of course, but I'm just like, I'm also trying to piece together the three different mediums, and it was hard for me in the moment to be like, wait, what was in the book, what was in the movie, what was not in the book, what was not in the movie. So I was like,
That's
I want to
always
go back and rewatch it and just like write down notes of different things. I was like, couldn't do it the first time. um what is
that's
your
so.
rating?
I think I enjoyed it like 6.5, 7 out of 10, and then like probably like it was they adapted the right parts. Like it made sense what they brought, except for bring the mayor's daughter, bring the mayor. Like that's the part where I was like, just give me that one. Like that would have been such a good like treat to fan. Like give us that little bit of fan service, right? Like
Mm.
you have the opportunity to do it and you didn't. It would have added like 2 minutes to the thing, but yeah, I think that's what I'm sticking with.
Which is funny
Um,
because in the program it says that they added in Easter eggs and stuff for the fans in the show, and I'm like, what did I miss that was different? The only one I caught, which was exciting, was when Effie is leaving the train when they first get
Mm.
on, and Hamish is there drunk. She, like, they're all get silent, and she turns to him and she goes, "And happy birthday, Hamish." And then she walks out, which I was
mhm.
like, girl. I was like, you can't do that. Which I loved it. And I was like, oh my God, like, that's like, ugh, my heart. And that's like free marketing for the movie coming out in November. But like, that was cool. But everything else, I don't know. I don't know what the fan service stuff was that they added in. So.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, thank you all for listening to this first part of our breakdown of the Hunger Games, the stage show. Thank you, Adam, for being on this first part. You're going to come back for the second part, so stay tuned. Make sure to follow us on Fable, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all of the above to chat about the show. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you would want out of a stage production. And thank you guys for listening. Do you have anything else to say, Lee?
Just happy reading.
Happy reading.